We may not look like it, but we're secret superheroes starring in USA's awesome new show, Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
We know it's got a long name, so to help you remember, we thought a few visual aids might be in order. So just think of it this way.
Tattooed
Teenage
Fighters from Beverly Hills.
So that's it. Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills.
Easy.
Premiering next Monday at 6 on USA.
Being real.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Next Station podcast.
Why did you find that video? That's such horrible shows out there.
Scrolling through TikTok as I do.
I've already forgotten at least 2 words in that title. I don't think it helped the way they thought.
I know that show because it came on right around the same time as Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad with Matthew Lawrence. It was one of their attempts to fucking fight against the Power Rangers.
So my first question: did any of you watch this show?
No, but I am now.
I didn't know about the first round, but I have seen episodes and it is horrible. It's 90210 just it's like who threw 90210 in the garbage, basically.
Yeah,
I
that's
bet
what
it's
it looks
on
like.
Peacock.
I really want to watch this.
I bet it's on Peacock.
No, it's not.
Next week.
USA did it, so whoever
That's what I'm
USA
thinking, right? Universal.
owns.
Yeah.
You might find
Is
episodes
that
on
Turner?
YouTube.
It would own it now if it's
No, USA.
USA?
I think it's Universal.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, all the USA shows eventually.
Next week, Clay's going to give us a 90-minute super fan discussion of teenage something Beverly Hills.
It looks like episodes are on YouTube. It doesn't look like it held up very well.
No, it did not.
That was the weird part, the Beverly Hills twist on it, like.
Yeah.
That where they trying to cap. So I don't know what year it's from. Like I mean, I could tell it was old.
94,
94.
95.
Okay, so were they trying to capitalize on the 90210 craze?
And distributed by Deke Entertainment.
Right. Okay.
It's just a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah. Well, or like they said, hey, let's pick these 5 interesting things and slam them together, and that never worked.
Because you had Power Rangers. That was their attempt to fight against Power Rangers, and it didn't do
They were
anything.
like, okay, what if we took the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and put them with the Beverly Hills Kids?
And the Power Rangers, and
the Power
gave them
Rangers.
tattoos. Because if there's one thing kids love, it's
Tattoos. They're tattooed teenagers. That leads the name. That's the weirdest part is like, hey, let's start with tattooed teenagers.
And when I first saw it, I was like, is this some kind of weird like acronym? Like, does it spell something dirty or something? But no, it doesn't.
There are
No, it's
40 episodes.
40 episodes? That feels like 39 too many.
Imagine banging out that last episode. You're just like, we're still the tattooed teenagers fighting.
I mean, no, their Zordon is like a pile of vomit. Really, he's just a slime little pit vomit little looking thing that gave him the powers.
Wow.
Their masks are horrifying.
They're not mad, they're tattoos.
No, the masks that they wear are like, they
Wait,
cover the face but keep the hair out.
I thought those were tattoos.
They hire teenagers for the teenager part, but then they hire like what would be CrossFit athletes as the people that they transform into. It's
the guys from that's what the American Gladiators were doing on their time off.
basically.
Now,
my
kids,
god.
if you don't know American Gladiators, who was it?
Do you like the oh my god, wow, there is
See? Like how I mean, I'm assuming that is like a mold, but then they couldn't talk or it would look
right.
This feels both wrong and offensive.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Huh. It looks like, when people make those videos now or TikToks or whatever with their face mask on before they go to sleep.
Yeah,
I know what
yeah,
you're talking
good
That's
point,
what it
yeah.
looks like.
Like a face peeler thingy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oy. Well,
Wow,
that's not what
we
we're
are
talking about today.
sidetracked with this show.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about today. That's I just like I said, I ran across that video on TikTok and it was 30 seconds. I was like, that's perfect for an intro to the show because first of all, I want to see the guys' reactions.
This shows the difference between 3 of us and Daniel. He saw this shit on TikTok. I remember seeing commercials for this when I was a teen, and then also having seen stuff on YouTube. He's seen this shit on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok for everyone though. You can see it. You can.
No, I'm
It's very
against it.
welcoming.
I would not be crying if TikTok went away. Seriously.
Yeah.
You know what the big time suck for it all. For me it is that they now you can post
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Dragon Ball or like anime fights.
Yeah.
So I am rewatching the same fucking scene from Dragon Ball, like, 5 times a week, 3 minutes at a time. But we're here to talk about something else. There was big news this week, and we'll get to it. Just a little, what do they call it? Subliminal messaging for the kids.
Did
For
you
the
see
kids.
the
Said by
response?
the kid.
The response from the guy who can read lips. So he watched it and he like read their lips to like figure out what they're actually saying, which is kind of fun. So
That's what I was thinking too, because I was like, I know they put the song, and the reason we're not playing the videos is because they both have licensed songs on them, and we don't have Ryan Reynolds money that can afford to buy license a song for our channel.
I
Can't
just
even
started.
afford Mint Mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
Or buy a soccer team in Wales.
I just started to watch that, and what you just said is exactly what Rob McElhenney said. He's like, "Yeah, I don't have Ryan Reynolds money. We got to bring that guy in."
That's right. I think he's making this movie to make sure he has enough money for the next season of his team for the payroll next
It'll
year.
be fine. It's Wales. They have
Oh.
money.
He loves
Well-
Deadpool. I feel like he would make this no matter what. So
Yeah, and we'll segue this into our previously into, because one of the things I've been watching, I continue to watch Welcome to Wrexham, which is the show about their soccer team with Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds. It's really entertaining. Like, just overall, like they're not even in the show that much. Like, it's really about the town. It
Yeah.
almost feels, I think I've said this before, but it almost feels like this is the documentary of what the team for Ted Lasso would be. I know they're different teams,
Yeah.
one's fiction or whatever,
Yeah.
but it almost feels like the town feels very similar. Where it's a small town because it's it's not like the Premier League or whatever. This is a lower league, and they're just trying to get to the next step. And it's one of the oldest football franchises like in the world. Like, they've been around since the 1800s. So then you have these two American guys buying up the team, and the town's like, they don't know what to do, right? Now, on part, they're excited because it's an influx of money and notoriety with these guys, and then, but on the other side, they still want the team to win. So if the team doesn't start winning, like, what the fuck is the point of having all this money around? So
right, yeah,
it's really interesting. And they go over. There was one episode fully dedicated to like Wales, like the country of Wales and the city. So like people would understand because they speak a separate language from English as well. It's very interesting, just like how all those things that we think is just Great Britain or the UK or whatever. I'll eventually remember the difference between the two of them, but yeah, it's interesting to see how even that's made up of like smaller countries and stuff. So really cool. Recommend it. It's on Hulu. Also on Hulu, I'm watching The Patient. That's the new Steve Carell and Domhnall Gleeson show.
Oh yeah, how is that?
It is fantastic. It's such a cool, like just a really cool thriller. The premise is Domhnall Gleeson is the patient for this therapist, played by Steve Carell, and he kidnaps him. And then there's like more stuff goes on, but I don't really want to spoil the full premise of the show.
A crazy man kidnaps his therapist.
He kidnaps him so he can get more therapy to help him out. So
it's basically What About Bob, but without the comedy.
yeah, Steve Carell's not funny in this one at all. But it's really good, and it's only like 30-minute episodes, almost kind of like The Bear. You could probably watch the whole thing when it's done, like in like like a half day or something. So yeah, I want Hulu to make more of these because this show looks like it's mainly in one location, right? So I can see that it was probably something they shot over a few weeks, maybe, and then got it done. But I mean, Steve Carell's so good in dramatic roles that
Yeah,
I love him in The Office and all the other funny stuff, but he's just really good in these other roles too, where you're like, how can this dude be the same person? Or how can one person get so much talent? Seems unfair. You can't be both funny and dramatic. Pick one. Pick a lane like me and stay in it. All right, let's throw it to Josh. he seems pretty excited about all the comics he hasn't read.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you guys are getting some old stuff. I have a big pull list this week, but I haven't been to the shop yet. I plan to go today or tomorrow. So you're getting what I read last week. I continue to read the Lonesome Hunters by Tyler Crook, which is great. It's just it's an interesting kind of horror comic, but with two main characters that you really like, and they're very out of the ordinary. So it's like an older guy and a teenage girl. It's good. Last week was just a lot of just like, it's good stuff. Issue 2 of Frankenstein New World, just beautiful art. I'm really loving this book, just in terms of the art. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
That's a lot of color for.
Yeah, it's well, and they kind of pull this thing where the first issue is all about Frankenstein's monster, who is sort of this god of these underground dwellers. So it's very post-apocalyptic, like something has happened on the surface world, and he wakes up and he's going to go out into the surface world. It's kind of like to fulfill the prophecy. And this young girl just kind of like sneaks away with him. Like he doesn't know that she's coming. She's bored with, being an underworld dweller. So she goes with him, and they kind of pull this thing where when they're in the underworld, it's not dull at all. I mean, there's a visually dull. There's like a lot happening. But when they get up into the surface world, it's like that moment when Dorothy opens the door and enters Oz. It's like you're just like, oh crap, like what is happening here? So also, I mean, just an interesting, entertaining book. I kind of just give Dark Horse props for the, I don't think they're really doing anything super splashy lately. Except you have this whole like the Frankenstein, which is from the world of Hellboy sort of series.
Yep.
They just kind of keep knocking this stuff out. That's just entertaining comics to read.
I think at least twice a month there's a new title from Dark Horse that I check out at number 1.
Yeah.
And I love the redesign. I guess I love the design of Frankenstein in this world.
Yeah.
It's very different. And I do love that it's all connected to Hellboy in some kind of form.
And I don't understand any of that because again, I've read
me neither. I haven't read enough. I keep waiting for Hellboy to show up. Like I read another one that was called like 10,000 Black Feathers or something that's also in the Hellboy world, and you get like Hellboy for one panel because somebody's having a flashback, but you don't need Hellboy in the books. You just need to know that it's all kind of connected.
Well, and that's the sort of thing is I know there's a lot of deep lore with Hellboy, and I've only ever read the first volume, but I keep reading these spin-off books. Like I'm also reading the British Paranormal Society.
Yep.
Because I like the tone of that world. It's very like Victorian, not steampunk. It's kind of Victorian flavored, to a degree. And so I don't know. I keep reading them because he is tapped into, I think, a kind of pulp tone that is really missing today in a lot of comics. Just it's a sort of tone that is meant about like fascination and new worlds, and they're just sort of compelling, but it always feels grounded, and it's just that's sort of something. It's kind of when we keep getting more and more superhero books that are like these big world shaking events, sometimes I just want something grounded, and these kind of nail that.
Nice. Yeah.
I can just blow through all 4 of mine right now if you want.
Yeah, you can do your comics, and then we'll come back to do some of the other stuff that's not
stuff I'm watching. Yeah. I'm curious to know if Kyle's reading this. I read issue 2 of Ultraman: The Mystery of Ultra 7 from Marvel.
I need to. I haven't read it yet.
Okay. I will be intrigued to hear what you and Clay and also Daniel, if you're reading it, think of this, because I don't know who this is for. I have very limited Ultra 7 knowledge. Like I've watched a couple episodes of the original Ultra 7 series. I've watched most of the first season of Ultraman. So I get the references in here, but you have to have at least a basic knowledge to know what the hell is going on, or you're just going to be utterly flummoxed. Like, you will have no idea what's happening.
There's another character who basically gets injured. Ultra 7 comes down, merges with him, and he has 3 minutes of air within the Earth's atmosphere, and before his little gem starts blinking red, and then he has to go into space to transform back.
Right. No. Take that though, right? And you have to know more than that. You have to know who the organization is. You have to know certain characters from the organization. No. For this comic, you do.
Okay.
Yeah. For this comic, you have to know that stuff. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know who the audience is for this, because if I were
long-time fans,
I'm sorry,
long-time fans,
I guess so, but
not a new reader.
If I Marvel, right? This is Marvel, and I'm going to get the license to this. Why do a book so deeply steeped in lore? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of on board for that, but it seems like a weird business move, to a certain degree.
I get what Josh is saying, because the Alien and Predator books don't feel that way at all. They feel every series feels very new reader friendly.
Yeah.
Like, you need to know maybe like one detail, like, oh, this is who the Predator is, and they fill you in like the first page.
Right.
Or this is what the aliens are, or the xenomorphs or whatever. So,
I mean, that's a great point, Dano, because even issue 1, this is only issue 2. Issue 1 introduces all the different like Ultraman variants to a certain degree, like as part of the lore and the planet, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on, right? So I don't know. It's a weird move, is what I'm saying.
Cool.
But still enjoyable. I mean, give me a big tall guy fighting kaiju, I'm there to read it. So.
Oh yeah.
But my pick for last week, at least, and I asked the gang earlier, as the only one that read this, is Action Journalism with Kate Kelly, number 1. This book is just a delight. Just a delight. It is, the basic idea is it is set in, again, the future. Kate Kelly is a space journalist, and it has one of the best 2-page openings I've ever read. So page 1 just does a great job of just setting up both the world, the specific event happening at that moment, which is Earth is about to be invaded by aliens, and Kate Kelly's role in all this. All right. So this is page 1. You turn to page 2, and it is a splash page where you're with the alien armada ship. And all they're talking about, this is the dialogue, all they say is, I mean, yes, they're a cancer on the galaxy and must be obliterated, given. But have you heard Jolene? Dolly Parton's a goddamn gift to the universe. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, holy shit, I am in. This is great. I love this. So highly recommend Action Journalism with Kate Kelly. It's by Eric Skillman wrote it. I'm going to screw up this name. I'm so sorry. I think it's Greek, maybe. Miklos Felvidecki is the artist and the letterer. And colored by Marian Gusmayo. So, anyway.
Well, I'm glad I made a good attempt at the names, because I'm clipping this out and tweeting them out to the creators like, hey, we did a quick review of your book. Listen, this is how we get some more reviews and views on this video. So
yeah.
Sure clip your favorite part of the video, share it with people.
Really, really fantastic stuff. Highly recommend. Go read Action Journalism with Kate Kelly. Awesome. It's tons of fun. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, let's move on to you, since I assume you're gonna have some more comics to talk about too.
Just a couple. Read Amazing Spider-Man number 10, which I really dug this issue.
Okay, I keep seeing reports about it. What do you think?
I'm liking the issue. I'm liking the series better now. Like,
okay, because I hated that first issue.
I remember that. Hey.
Like, you don't know what the fuck he did. Him and Mary Jane aren't together anymore. It's like, what the hell? But now he's starting to get a lot better. He's now working for Norman Osborn in a new spider suit that he created. And this is the reason Osborn has hired him on, is because he wants him to keep him from becoming the Green Goblin.
Okay.
So, but he's got this new suit, and basically, this is coming off this is still dealing with the Avengers versus Externals versus Eternals versus X-Men, where one of the Celestials is now judging Earth, and so now people, certain individuals are seeing ghosts, sort of like it's a judgment that they're seeing like past ghosts, and so Peter is seeing an envisionment of Gwen Stacy with this glowing eye, and she's basically judging him. So he's going around. He's called Tony, asking if I see anything, should I be worried? He's like, no. Why are you seeing anything? No. He goes around, talks to Miles, talks to his Aunt May. Aunt May is actually seeing a vision of Ben Parker, and eventually he goes to work, and basically, they do something where basically he tells Norman to go away, and then Gwen kind of goes away, and then he has to explain to her that basically, everything I'm doing is because I'm still in love with you, and then basically the Celestial gives him like 30 seconds to talk to Gwen for a live Gwen for about 30 seconds, and and she goes, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you and I still love you too. And you come to find out later, Norman has seen this. And he goes, I know I saw Gwen. He's like, no, there's no way I could have seen Gwen. Walks off, and you realize he's being judged by a vision of Gwen because of.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right, so I gotta ask, and this might be a little spoilery, so sorry for anybody. Did they pass? Did they pass the test?
Peter passed.
Peter did.
Yeah, but that's the only one we know. That's the only we know. Other people are.
Okay, we don't know about Norman. We didn't see his test, I guess.
No, yeah, we don't know what's going on.
Okay, cool.
We didn't even know he was seeing anybody until the very last panel.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm loving Judgment Day. I think all the times are really cool because a lot of them are like Kyle just mentioned, tangentially connected with it's still a story about the character you're following, but it's like what's going on with them during Judgment Day. So this vision. So cool. I might check that one out. I hadn't like Josh. I was not in love with the first issue, and
no, the first couple were kind of hard to get through, and then after that, it's gotten better.
And I like the whatever they did, the Amazing Spider-Man 1000 or Amazing Fantasy 1000. That was fun, but
that's a Zeb Wells series, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is weird because I like Zeb Wells. I love Hellions, and I love the latest episode of She-Hulk was written by Zeb Wells. Yeah. Which we'll talk about more after all this stuff.
The list of Marvel Z characters that appear in the last episode of She-Hulk is amazing.
Yes, I loved it.
Oh God!
All right.
I had people asking me, "Is the porcupine a real character?"
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man Bull, of all things, Man Bull.
Man Bull.
Oh my God.
Cool. All right. What else, Kyle?
And then just Thunderbolt number 2. It's basically just continuing the storyline with Hawkeye leading the team. They finally get that little midget dude who's now a part of the team, and I like the little. He's basically not a villain. He's just miscommunication, but they couldn't understand him. Power Man has a little bit of what's what I'm trying to think of confidence issue because he gets knocked away by the guy in one punch. He goes, I don't know if I can still be Power Man. And yes, you can. Yeah, and then Egro, and then the very last episode, what is it? Monica shows up and he goes, so where were you? And he's like saying, it's like, I was having to take care of some stuff. It's like. And they try to go, I'm not here for the pain. And he goes, then why are you here? He's like, to make sure you don't fuck up. And Hawkeye starts laughing. He goes, wait a second, are you being serious?
That's a great cover, by the way. I love the callback to, early or Silver Age Marvel stuff.
Yeah. And I like Jim Zub. I think he's a really fun writer, especially with groups. Yeah. I know he does a lot of fantasy stuff, so you might have seen his work in I don't know. I think he did some maybe D&D books or Pathfinder, one of those. Or
both, actually. Yeah. And just wait till my recommendation at the end if you like.
Oh, hey, all right. Cool. All right. Let's check in with Clay.
I have been collecting a lot of Daredevil and Alpha Flight individual stuff to to fill out my the gaps in my collection.
That's an important Daredevil book he got.
He got a gun.
Yeah, and this was just laying around half-price books.
For real? That's a Frank Miller cover.
Yeah, this is the first team up of Daredevil and Punisher.
How does Daredevil aim the gun?
By smell.
But I'm just going through the great covers. This has the classic Wolverine. Cover. We got a John Byrne. Black Widow. But just there's a great I just love that one.
Oh wait, it's shiny. Can you?
There
Oh,
it is.
that is
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
just-
we're gonna have Clay tweet some of these covers out through the next issue account so you can see the covers.
Yeah, but I've been collecting Daredevil for a long time, but it was a book that when digital came out, I just went to digital trades. And so like didn't buy singles, didn't buy, I think I even sold all my hardbacks. I think I only have a couple of hardbacks left. And so someone went in and sold all their Daredevil and Alpha Flight. And I'm trying to catalog my Alpha Flight because I may have a complete run of Volume 1 with this. So
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
yeah, so I'm excited to finish that out. But man, I love getting this age Daredevil stuff, like the 180s, right post Frank Miller. Like they're still dark. Like there's an issue in here I went in to open that was written by Ann Nesenti, where the first page is a dude just hanging himself.
Oh,
Wow. Damn.
I know. And I look at some of these and I go, I don't think they tell these stories today. Like they're just so dark. It's just, especially putting a hero with a gun on the cover like Daredevil.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Marvel does gun covers anymore, do they?
Not that I remember. Not actual.
I like that.
Not like realistic looking guns. Oh, maybe even maybe on like a previous Punisher book. Yeah, I think Punisher probably was still.
Punisher's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Even because the only times I remember it are Punisher, and it's usually just like raining bullets or something. It's some sort of art style that's added to it to make it look more artistic than just violent.
Now, DC's pretty famous with their gun covers, right? You've got the Year 2 Batman. You've got many issues of Wild Dog. I seem to remember having.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It almost kind of looked like that you just showed. So.
yeah.
But I love kind of getting my collections back in order, filling in gaps, and then just minimizing the amount of my need list.
Nice. That's awesome.
I mean,
That's got to feel good.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I have Alpha Flight Volume 2 and 3, so this may like complete my entire run of Alpha Flight books.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Clay's gonna be a very rich man in a couple years when those Alpha Flight series start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fuck movie.
I was talking with Aaron over at Urban Legends, and we were talking about Letterkenny, the guy that stars in Letterkenny.
Oh yeah.
How I feel like he could play Mac if we did an Alpha Flight series. I just can't come up with a decent Heather to play opposite him. Like, who's the person who takes over after Mac dies and comes back, and all the shit that happens in Alpha Flight? Spoilers for Alpha Flight.
Spoilers. No.
A 30-year-old book,
Right?
But he drops Jennifer Garner. So, what do you guys think of Jennifer Garner as Heather Hudson?
Too old.
She'll always be Electra to me.
Yeah. That's kind of the.
But she's too old now. She's like almost like 50. I think you need somebody a bit younger to play. If we're going to do Alpha Flight right, I think we need somebody a bit younger to play the character.
How about Allison Brie?
Oh, I like her. Yeah.
I like her.
Although she'll be busy in the next upcoming weeks or months.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a
Which
community
we'll
movie.
talk about that in the news section.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Troy and Ovid in the morning.
Oh, nice. You got the mug.
Yeah. But comics wise, that's been it for me. So
Okay, I know Shelby tweeted or responded to my tweet about Briar that y'all picked it up from the shop.
yeah, it's in my stack to read.
Okay, let me know what you think once you read it. I'll talk a little bit more about when I get to my comics. So, but what else, Clay? What else you got?
We watched a weird documentary last night on a thing that could have only happened in the 70s. It's about van life, and I put a link in the show notes. It's only an hour, but I think it was on Tubi. It's called Sleaze Lake, and it's like a documentary about like a post-Vietnam America that had these van clubs, and they would just like hang out. Yeah. Like, and so this is footage that they had, and it's all like 8mm, so it's really old.
Oh boy, I didn't know there was movie Clay.
But it's just dudes that had come back from the war, people who were unhappy with America, who kind of just found this like subculture of people who just were into vans, and they move out to this like Midwestern area that's like just filled with people. Like they kind of create their own community there. And it's only like 56 minutes long, but it's an interesting take on if you want to see America at a time that wasn't heavily documented like it is today, to watch an 8mm film and the people who were there and experienced it, and people who still go. Like they're at their 44th annual van, convergence where they all get together, and there are people who are still part of this club and love it.
So these are more like, these are just reunions of people that travel in van. They don't live in their van.
They don't live in their vans. No,
Okay.
they're fans of, customized vans, or just vans themselves, because customization became a whole different wave within the car community. But it just has a lot of layers to it, because you're seeing like car enthusiasts who were kind of potheads, who were kind of unhappy with society, a lot of ex-military people who just came back from the war and completely unhappy with the way America was. And they just kind of found a community within their own of just people who were into vans. So I don't know. I kind of recommend it. It peters out at the end, but like in the middle, it's kind of neat to get everyone's take on it, because I mean, we're talking about like 40 to 50 years old, time period that people are reliving on screen. So it's interesting, because even one woman goes, I would be terrified if my daughter went to something like this today.
Oh, wow.
But for her, it was fine. Like she had left her husband and went to this thing. Like she dropped everything and went to this thing, and that like became her new life. So
What a commitment to the van.
yeah. I think I talked about this a little, but I know Shelby wanted me to talk about Suburban Commando more, because it's free on YouTube. You got words about it, Kyle?
No. I got something else I want to. After you're done with this, I got something to call you and Mark out about your last episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't have enough Nicolas Cage.
No, this has to do with Superman.
Oh, man.
Mark's going on that there's no timeline in the Superman movies. That's bullshit. If you guys actually took the time to do the research. Basically,
called out.
Superman Returns is a direct sequel to Superman 2. It negates Superman 3 and 4. Superman Returns happens 5 years after Superman 2.
Okay.
Because you guys were talking, he mentioned things like how is Lex Luthor still alive? It's like there's no long time frame in the Superman franchise. It's basically in Superman 2, he reveals his identity to Lois. They have sex. At the end, he kisses her and she forgets all about it. And that's why the reason they end up having a kid in Superman Returns.
Yeah, I forget about that, because he started talking about 3, and then we went into 4, so we were kind of obsessed on those two that aren't really good movies at all.
No, but those don't happen. Basically, Superman Returns negates both 3 and 4.
Yeah, and Superman Returns is very boring. It's just
but it's better than 3 and 4.
Yeah, but I mean,
but the comics made Nuclear Man canon, so who's
right?
Who's right?
I mean, really, the only thing that matters is the Donner cut, and that's it.
Which timeline do you prefer? The Nuclear Man timeline with Richard Pryor, or the Returns?
Because it gave us Brandon Routh the Superman, which it was not his fault. The movie was boring.
Right, he's a great Superman. Yeah. He just had a bad story.
Yeah,
and a bad villain.
Don't make me pick between Nuclear Man and Richard Pryor. All right, it's always going to be.
No, those are in the same one.
I know. But I'm just saying, like I have to have both or neither, right? So,
neither.
No, Richard Pryor.
No, he wasn't enough to save the damn movie. The movie was horrible. It's, granted, we got a freaky villain, that cyborg chick at the end of the movie, but still, it's a horrible film.
I don't even remember that part. Jesus.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either.
At the very end, she merges with the gigantic computer and comes out of the cyborg.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's taking everyone's checks.
Fuck, that's bad.
Yeah.
But
Richard Pryor, not good.
back to Terry. Back to Terry over here.
Yeah, this is Hulk Hogan's second movie, and this is weird because like the people in it are really successful.
Wait a minute.
Is that Christopher Lloyd?
That's Christopher Lloyd. He's like the man of the house who is married to Shelley Duvall.
Thank you. I was going to ask him if it was Shelley Duvall.
And Shelley Duvall, the great Jack Elam. The great Jack Elam. For those of you who are very young like Daniel, he was in a ton of Westerns and played in a lot of comedies like Cannonball Run, and he is insane. But poor Shelley Duvall, man, she is just doing nothing in this film. Like, it is so weird, like how they have someone who is as great as her, and she just is like doing nothing.
I got a quick question.
Yes.
Was this in Real Offensive?
Yeah. It becomes a trope in 80s films where they just for some reason would have like Japanese businessmen who were there. But I will point out though, if you're a fan of the great Drop Dead Gorgeous, go back to that guy.
I don't know if there's a going back, Clay. I'm just
well
going back.
If you are a fan of Drop Dead Gorgeous, I recommend. I saw that guy because he plays the dad of one of the pageant girls in the movie, and I was like, holy shit! Like he was doing Suburban Commando back in the day.
Okay, and did they ever talk about what this piece is?
Yes. So this is his suit that allows him to do a lot of really bad or really strange stuff, and you get a little story as he walks along the city. And
what the fuck it have? Every screen cap of this movie is gold.
Is he from space or the future?
Yes.
What is happening? Okay,
he is from space. That's one of the bounty hunters that's chasing him.
But go ahead and tell you who the other bounty hunter is.
The Undertaker. It is the first appearance of the Undertaker on film.
Is he already known as the Undertaker?
No.
Okay, so just the guy that becomes.
Hogan brought him in as a character for the movie, and then he would go on to be WWE's Undertaker. Mark Calloway was his first. No, that's not him. There he is. Look at that. Oh my god.
So didn't really change much.
No.
What a weird.
It is the weirdest film because it spends no money on special effects. All the special effects are really bad, but probably top rate for at the time. He's in a ship, and the whole beginning is like he's going to have to land on Earth, repair his ship, and leave. And so he stays with his family, and it's really fucking weird. Like, there's a daughter who doesn't say a word the entire movie until the end.
Oh, no,
she says
lady.
Goodbye. Yeah. I mean, it's just Hulk Hogan being big and awkward. He like.
I just want to capture that scene and just post it with no context. Just no context.
Is this fuck?
This is one of Shelby's favorite movies.
Is this
she watched
prior
as a kid?
This is after Back to the Future.
What?
Yes, this is after Back to the Future, and Christopher Lloyd is like really
Why is
bad.
Christopher Lloyd in this?
Have any of you ever seen No Holds Barred? His first film.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it. I've heard it.
Oh, that's the only one I've ever seen of his films.
Yeah.
The only things outside wrestling were that one, and then he did another one called Pacific Thunder, where he played.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah,
or
the
I've
TV
seen
show.
clips from it.
Oh my
But, okay, but here's my question: if you watch No Holds Barred, and you're a Hollywood agent, who then thinks he's so good in that I'm going to put him in Suburban Commando?
When you've got Vince McMahon backing the money of
all right,
a lot of these were like WWF production behind the scenes, pushing him into other stuff.
Yeah,
so
this is before The Rock, who could actually act, or John Cena. You know,
even Stone Cold. Even though the movies he's in are not very good.
Well,
but
hang on. We're missing out on the original OG made the transition, and that's Roddy Piper in
Yes.
I think Hogan beat him. I think Hogan beats Roddy in the movies.
No, really?
Yeah, hold on. Because They Live would have been Roddy's, I think, first, or is it Hell Comes to Frogtown? One of the two. Let me check.
Hell Comes to Frogtown is before that, yeah. Because I think that's like in the 70s, isn't it? Or
no, it's 80s. Or 90s. Either 80s or 90s for Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Well, They Live is 84, so.
Only reason I know about all these movies is because How Did This Get Made has covered them.
So, all right. So
They Live is 88.
It's 88? Oh, shit.
Both Hell Comes to Frogtown and They Live both got released in 88.
Oh,
yeah, but Hell Comes to Frogtown looks like it had been made a few years earlier.
It couldn't because you got to realize Roddy Piper wasn't wrestling in the 70s yet. He's younger than Hogan, so he would have been.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking early 80s then.
Let me see. No Holds Bar when that was. But this will give us who was first.
So Clay, I have to ask: is this Shelby's favorite film? Because just as a kid, it was on TV all the time, or
I think they had it on Betamax.
Okay.
so they could watch it over and over and over again.
It was stuck in the beta.
What's Betamax?
I had one of those.
Betamax is old tape.
It's the
Betamax-
superior. It's the superior tape.
No.
It's the superior tape.
Superior tape.
Talking
yeah.
about that, I was listening to a podcast recently. It's called Everything 80s, and they're talking about how albums are now 40 years old, so they're coming from 1982. And they bring out an interesting fact that 1982 was the only year we ever had 4 audio formats all together. It was the ending of 8-track, but was still around. Vinyl was still around. Cassette, and it was the first year they ever introduced compact disc.
Fuck.
Whoa.
We're the generation that has bought the most media.
Yeah.
Although I will say, if you go into Urban Outfitters today,
Yeah.
you live in a world with 4 media, right?
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Audio tape, vinyl, we have MP3s, and we have CDs. So
What about the Kids Bop or the the little things that came?
yeah, the weird little like one album MP3 player thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget about those.
Hogan beats Rowdy by a couple years only for one film.
What?
Rocky 3.
Oh,
Shit. I forgot.
yeah. And he does a little tiny appearance in Gremlins too. I forgot about that one too.
Yeah, but No Holds Bars came out in '89, so Rowdy Piper definitely beats him when it comes to fully being the main actor in that film.
We got Shelby in the chat. Everyone go watch Suburban Commando. It holds up.
It is entertaining. It is very entertaining to watch. I will not lie.
I'm going to follow up, and it holds up to what? Yeah, that's how we
cherish childhood memories. It holds up to cherish.
Okay.
So.
I mean, it's very much a product of its time. So it's interesting to see that snapshot of just what films were.
Yeah, thank you, Shelby. But yeah, please explain it holds up to what. Anyways, cool. Clay, we'll come back for the rest of your stuff, and then we'll finish up with She-Hulk. So let me talk about real quick a few things that are happening. So October is freaking all the new anime month, and it started off last week. Jujutsu Kaisen finally dropped on Crunchyroll, the movie. It's really good. Probably one of the best movies. Huh?
What dropped?
Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie. It's from the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. Anyway, maybe this might be the wrong audience for all this, but I wanted to talk about it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's the audience then.
I love Jujutsu Kaisen.
And also, is it an anime about jujutsu?
I mean, there's fighting in it, but not the jujutsu that you're thinking of. No.
Okay.
And then also, My Hero Academia season 6 dropped today. I just watched it this morning.
Nice.
Really, really cool. I'll be doing a review for that for the channel later on.
Has Dragon Ball Super Hero come out yet?
It came out in theaters, but
right?
not digitally. But yeah, that movie's fantastic too. I'm having a hard time figuring out which one of those Dragon Ball Super movies is my favorite because they've all been great. Even if we never got the series, like just having the movies would have been really cool. But we do have the series, and I want to touch on a few comics because that's the lifeblood of this channel. So, 8 Billion Genies #5 out this week. This comic is so good. It might be the best miniseries of the year. Like
it is.
It is so good.
Is that from Image?
It's from Image. Yeah, Ryan Brown.
It's sitting in my box for me to pick up this week. So
now, as I mentioned on Twitter too, my pick of the week though, Briar #1 from Boom Studios. This is a retelling of the Sleeping Beauty story, but it's turned into a dark fantasy. Christopher Canwell is the writer. He did like Halt and Catch Fire. He's doing the Iron Man run currently at Marvel, so he's an excellent writer. Also, Grimm #5 came out this week. Also from Boom. This finishes the first arc, so this is your time to catch up if you haven't read Grimm.
Oh, okay.
I picked up this Harley. I'm behind on Harley, but I'm loving the like retro covers that they're doing.
Every one of those has been great.
They're all great. Also, the Human Target's back after a little bit of hiatus.
Oh yeah.
I love this book.
The cover.
Have you read this week's, Kyle?
No, I have. I saw it, but I didn't read it.
I won't spoil anything, but it's really good. I I love the JLI. So like I really want to go back and read more of their stuff. Also, Old Dog dropped this week from Declan Shalvey at Image as well. This is like if you like a spy story and you like Declan Shalvey's art and writing, like this is the book for you. Also, finally, my boy Tim Drake got his comic book back. He's got a series going on, dropped this week. He's moving out on his own and just trying to do his own thing. So really cool. Riley Rossmo's doing art. Meg Fitzpatrick writing duties.
He moves out on his own. He's like what, 48, 49?
Yeah.
I think I showed these on the last one, but they did facsimile of Detective Comics 27.
Yeah.
And then like the week later they did a facsimile of Action Comics #1.
I wanted to get that.
I had to pick them up.
Yeah.
I did read that because it's the return of Clark back to Earth.
Yeah, those are expensive. They're like $8, and I'm always like, you know.
So the reason I got them is because I mean, obviously, speculator market. Like these, even facsimiles will eventually go up in value because they are exactly like.
Yeah,
they're
it's
exactly the same. Like, they have the ads in the back.
That's what I love them for.
Yeah, they have everything. They have all the other little stories because these were anthology books.
Yeah,
they were not. You know, these are extra long. That's why they're $8 too, because they're like, I think they're like 60 pages or more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the Batman in
I did read the most, like I think it was from last week, but the most recent Dark Crisis, and it showed me something like DC acknowledges more than Marvel. Is the fact that now we no longer just have, when the 60s, 70s, 80s, when we had the Justice League, it was all about the individual characters, Superman, Batman. Now we literally have the Superman family. We literally have the Batman family. Like when they're talking about in Dark Crisis #5, when they came about going out and taking on Slade's teams. Okay, so the JSA is going to take on this team. The Bat family is going to take on this team. The Titans are going to take on this team. Now, like when that most recent Action Comics, Superman is talking to the United Nations, comes out with the Superman family. It's Clark, it's Connor, it's Jonathan, it's Kara, along with Steel and his niece. Like the whole Superman family comes out. We got the Batman family, we got the Flash family now, we got the Green Lantern family. There's no more just individual. It's about DC has created the Justice League family bunch now.
I really like the latest issue too. I like it because when I didn't realize how big of a. I mean, it's been a long time since I see Deathstroke really go at Nightwing.
Yeah.
And there's like this thing where Deathstroke tells him like, "You're not the Justice League," and Nightwing's like, "No, we're not. We're the Titans." And then all the Titans show up behind him. So like, really, really cool stuff. So that's a fun book. I think it's going to be really interesting what happens going forward from now on too, because multiverse and DC like. Always shaking things up, I guess, back and forth.
They just released a cover of a new Dark Crisis Justice League, where we're getting a new Justice League coming out.
Yeah, because they're all still like in their little worlds that they had them in. And we didn't get to talk about it last week, but Vanish #1 from Image Comics, Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. I did not one but 2 videos about this.
It's really good. I mean,
it's so good.
Art is on another level for this.
I mean, it's so good. I
gotta read it. Of course,
I had to get the Daniel Warren Johnson cover.
Oh, yep.
Oh, whoop. The Ed McGuinness cover.
Oh my God.
Fuck, I want that.
And
the Greg Capullo cover, of course. And hopefully, I got some people maybe going on New York Comic Con that are gonna grab me some more covers. Yeah, this book, it's so much fun. I can't wait. So thanks to Image for sending it out. If you want to read it early, you can also subscribe to the KLC Substack. They'll give you a digital copy early for the issues. But that's about it. There's a lot of anime coming out in October that I'm very excited about too. I did a video for that, but specifically Bleach. I'm a big fan of Bleach. And it's coming back to finally finish off the manga because the previous iteration of the anime never finished the manga. And then we also have Blue Lock, which is an anime about soccer, which I love. Those two things combined, big passions of mine. So we'll be covering that in the channel. And there's the reviews for everything I talked about. Also, if you're not caught up, like if you want to see Superman again back on Earth, jump on Action Comics because he's back. And it's going to be a crossover with the Son of Kal-El book, and like Kyle mentioned, like the whole it's a family affair. All right, that's all I have for that. Let's go back to Josh because he still has a few things, and
Yeah,
that are not comics.
they're not comics. In terms of things I've watched the first 2 episodes of the new Quantum Leap sequel.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Sequel. I have a knee-jerk reaction when I see headlines like reboot. It's not a fucking reboot. It's a sequel. Yeah, it's okay. I've got qualms about it. The things I like, the main character and the actor playing him are just fantastic. Really good. I feel like you've got to get to the second episode to, I think, pick up on what he's, the range that he has in the same way that Bakula had that range. The relationship between him and his Al, if you will, his fiance, spoiler, it's in like
you're not spoiling anything by that
first episode, is great. They have a great rapport.
Wait a minute. He's engaged and goes into the Quantum Leap, knowing that the original guy never returned, and his wife or his fiance is helping him.
That's one of the key story components.
And there's even a twist to that, Clay, that I'm not going to tell you unless you want to know.
On that. So his fiance is the one that kind of sends him off in this adventure.
No.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
No, he doesn't all his own.
Does she know where he's going? Does she know what he's doing?
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, no. So the one thing the new show introduces is there's very much a underlying B plot mystery because none of the team know why Ben leaped. And the person that helped him leap, you find out, again, spoiler, but you find out at the end of the first episode is Al's daughter.
Who's the main guy from the previous series?
No. Al's one,
yeah. I mean, so Al was Sam's like friend, but also the
his hologram friend.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm really intrigued by the fact that this is a sequel, and it's something that you have to have some knowledge of the first series to jump into, even to the fact that they haven't really fully explained it yet. But Ernie Hudson, who I love Ernie Hudson on screen.
I didn't know he was in it.
He plays a character from the original series who was younger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it is really deeply set in lore. Sorry, Daniel, go ahead.
No, well, my actual question was going to be, so the premise is that when you leap into somebody, you kind of have to live their life to complete something, right?
Yeah.
What if that involves you being romantically involved with something else? I'm with someone else. I'm sure that was a premise maybe for the original series.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was like, wait, his fiance is sending him? Like, does she know that he might have to cheat on her?
I guarantee at some point this is going to come up because they're clearly setting that up. And one of the things the original series did that I thought was really well is from the pilot to the second episode, they play with the idea of Sam having those types of intimacies, right? Okay. And then from the second episode onward, he's always really, he almost kind of becomes kind of puritanical. Like he's like, I don't want to touch women, like he kind of has this weird, like standoffish approach. And so I am very curious because the stuff from the original series they've kept is, for instance, the Swiss cheese memory, right? Ben leaps, has no knowledge who he is, picks up a little bit here and there, but Ernie Hudson, who's running the Quantum Leap program, is basically setting a rule of he has to remember himself. We can't fill in the information for him, right? So there's some really cool stuff. There's some that I think the thing that's been surprising me the most is that these episodes are as long as the original, but they feel like they go by in a blink of an eye. And I can't figure out if it's, again, the B plot that they have to constantly go back and forth to, so it makes these things kind of seem like they go faster. Here are my qualms. First qualm is, and maybe this will change because there's only been 2 so far. It seems like whenever we see Ben in the past, his hologram is always there with him. So she's like a constant companion. Whereas I think one of the great things about Intention in the original series was Al was only around at certain times. So Sam had to figure stuff out on his own. and she's kind of always helping him figure stuff out, right? That's qualm number one. Qualm number two, I think, is a little more particular. And again, this may change as the series goes on. We've had 2 so far, and Ben is leaping into big moments, right? So the first one is the theft of the Hope Diamond. The second one is the moment in shuttle history when during a spacewalk, an astronaut dies when he gets hit by space debris.
Yeah. It was
in like the early 90s, I think.
Late 90s.
So it's always these big moments. And I think the thing that made the original Quantum Leap so beautiful and compelling is that Sam's often leaping into like just everyday moments and helping. And these are like big moments. So the setup for the next one is he's a boxer. So maybe this will be the first really grounded episode. They realize, let's give 2 big ones for the first.
It's going to be him jumping into Mike Tyson. He's trying to keep him from biting dude's ear off.
If that is the plot of next episode, I'm fucking out. All right, I'm just noping out of here.
That's right. Josh wants that ear bitten way off.
I do like one thing in the first episode when he jumps in and he's looking around. It's 1980s, and he looks at the movie theater. And the movie theater on the billboard has a double feature: Goonies and St. Elmo's Fire.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that was great. That was great. I did kind of call a little bit of bullshit, although I do know this existed. They did do their research. Is he's in the van? It's like what, 84? 85. And there is a little like portable TV set that he's like looking at. And I'm like, those were pretty rare and they were not in color. I remember one, it was like black and white. I can't fathom he would have a color portable TV set in his van. But anyway, I don't know. It's certainly entertaining. I have concerns that I think the first season needs to shake out, and
we'll get there.
So
we'll get there.
But it's worth watching. If you're a fan of the original, I think the fact that it just so embraces the lore from it makes it compelling. And I'm calling bullshit right now. I think they are intentionally trying to fool us into thinking Bakula is not going to appear. Because my theory is this. They set up in the first 2, there is a specific moment in Ben's life that he's trying to get back to. And I think it's to save Sam. That's just my theory right now going in. But I think it's to save Sam. And I think Sam's going to make an appearance in this season somewhere. So
I got a book, guys. I got to hit it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry,
thank you.
All right. Later, man.
Dude. Thanks, Greg. Always. Every Saturday. Come get your fix.
Yes. So anyway, new Quantum Leap. I'll give it 1 thumb up right now. 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down. Just kind of like, we'll see where it goes.
How long is this season?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll look.
I would think 24 episodes, but who knows nowadays with network TV, like they are adapting.
Yeah, I know, because it seems ridiculous to set a show to the standards of regular TV when it's just streaming.
But for their prime time, sometimes they keep those at 24, like still 20-ish, 20. So, I mean, if they got 20, good for them.
I will say this. Okay, only 4 are listed so far in IMDb, so I don't know. But I will say this, Clay. I really I would love actually for both of you to watch it, because I'm watching it and I'm realizing this must have been what it was like for my parents to watch the original, because none of the where he goes back to feels old to me. I mean, maybe 85 fellow, 93. I graduated high school. I'm like, that's not old. We're in college. Like, what the hell, you know? So that feels strange to me a little bit. But
it's funny. I was listening to the Larry Comics podcast. They were talking about that kind of same scenario where like how we thought, like right now, if you think back to the 90s, that's how we thought about the 70s back then, because it's the same amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm going to stop watching it.
Well, and it's our weird fascination with that time period, because like during the 70s, we had Happy Days, which was about the 50s. And then the Wonder
it
Years
feels like
80s,
20 years is a good gap to like go back and rewrite or write about 20 years ago. So yeah, we're getting that 90s show, right? The reboot or whatever.
Yep.
So
yep.
Now, Josh, this next thing I did watch.
Is it Abbott Elementary?
It is.
It is.
I'm
love
going to
that
start watching it, so no
It's
spoilers.
so good.
Okay.
It is so good.
So
I will-
good.
I will say this. This is the one thing I'll say. If you're going in expecting a like bust out laughing like a Parks and Rec, it's not that. It's a much more kind of like heartfelt, kind of slyer humor. But it's just, I mean, it is so great. It is such a great show. And season 2's gotten off to just a fantastic start. We just watched episode 2 last night.
They didn't miss a beat.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
They just kind of kept going. So yeah, I really, really, really love the. I mean, I love the premise. I went to public school.
Yeah.
Maybe not like this, but pretty similar. Like some things I can definitely relate to. And then Quinta Brunson just wrote, like she writes and is in the show, and she just won an Emmy. So like, there's quality there. Really good to see the Tyler James Williams, who plays he plays a teacher there. He was also Chris Rock in his sitcom. So
that's who that is. Yeah. God, it's been driving me nuts.
All grown up.
Yeah, he was in The Walking Dead in between.
Yeah, he was in The Walking Dead. And people hated his character, and they gave him like one of the most gruesome deaths.
He was in The Rotating Door.
You just blew my mind, man. Oh my God. I kept wondering, where is this guy from? Why does he look so familiar to me?
Oh, yeah, I love it. Every time I see him, because I'm like, hopefully you can break out of that. That was the Chris Rock dude, right? Because
that's tough, though. He did that for a long time.
That show was so long. Like, yeah, it went on for maybe longer than it should have, but I mean, good. I really like, what's his name? He played his dad.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. I love Terry Crews.
Yeah.
I'll see him on anything. Follow him on TikTok. He's an artist, so he draws like his co-stars.
Yeah,
he
paints.
Like
it's his
all the art that you saw in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like a lot of it, he did it himself.
Yeah.
Like, anytime Terry
was good. He's really good.
He's really talented.
Yeah.
So,
like I think he's got a degree in painting. Like
he's got the muscle, he's got the art. He's funny. Terry Crews is somebody I think you can. He's a good role model.
When I think of the very little I've accomplished in my life, and then I think of Terry Crews, I'm like, God damn, that guy can do everything. Jeez.
And I know the movie probably hasn't aged very well, but I love him in White Chicks. He's really funny in that.
Yeah, he is funny in that.
I really think the first thing I ever saw him in was Idiocracy.
Yeah. President Camacho.
Yes.
Yes. And I just saw him in something else recently. It was I finally watched this movie called Blended with the fucking Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Like another one. You know what? As bad as those movies are, like their chemistry's so good. Like Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, like I love them all in all those movies together. Like,
yeah, but just watch 50 First Dates.
I like that one. I like The Wedding Singer. I only watched
The Wedding Singer too. I forget that one's really good.
I like that one because I watched Blended because I realized I had never seen it, and I'm like, oh, they're together again. So it was it's definitely not as good as the other two, but it's still pretty charming and funny. And Terry Crews is hilarious in it. So
I'll just do my last thing real quick. I'll just take a sec if that's all right. I had been wanting these for a while, and it was the first anniversary of it, so they were on sale. The new release of Achtung Cthulhu, the role-playing game by Modifius. This is the player's guide. This is the game master's guide.
I was wondering what that was when I saw it. I was like, is that a weird pun on action Cthulhu? Like,
I mean, it is because Achtung is German for like action, basically.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's a game set in World War II. Like it's basically Hellboy the game, just without demons. It's you play in an allied military unit fighting the Nazis who have aligned with Cthulhu elder gods. And one thing I liked about the redesign is how they're making the covers look like kind of old comic / pulp books.
Yeah.
You know, with like,
oh my God.
Wow.
All right, we're done here.
All right. I'm good. You go ahead. I totally drove you.
I was trying to put you on this one.
No, please don't. You want to look at this? Come on.
Because you had the book up, and I was like, all right, let me give you the good shot for it. but I started on the opposite side of the stream yards, and I was like, "Oh, that's not it. Well, it's this one. Oh, that's not it. Well, luckily I didn't have anything bad pulled up."
You made 3 lefts to make a right.
That was like I went around all the belt line to get back to Irving. That's a local reference for you, for you, for you, for you people watching in Alaska and the one guy in Ireland or whatever it was.
Oh,
right. All right, cool.
So,
Clay, let's finish up your stuff and then we'll jump into a little bit of She-Hulk and Endor real quick. I know Josh probably hasn't seen either, which is very, very upsetting.
Yeah, have you not seen Suburbia? The gritty, tales of life in California in 1984. I had never seen this, or I hadn't seen it in a long time. I think since it like came out, so I rewatched it because it's really about like the punk scene. It has a nice transition between the late 60s and people who had bought homes in the suburbs, and now like we're in 84 and their kids are teenagers, and how all that hope is kind of gone. That most of the kids are being raised by their friends, each other, or they come from a single parent home. It's just it's probably the Kids, like how Kids was like the 90s version of what it was like to grow up. This is definitely the Gen X version.
Okay.
So but the wildest tie-in I saw to this was the woman who created this movie would years later go on to make the Little Rascals reboot.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, so from like these punk suburban kids who had like no real adults around, and they're basically raising each other. It's just real fucked up.
Is it bald dude Channing Tatum?
In 84, I would say no.
He's a time traveler.
That's not Ben Stiller, is it? Is that a Dylan there?
It looks like Ben Stiller too, right?
Kevin
Okay,
Dillon?
good. I'm not crazy.
No, nobody in this I think broke out.
Is this a young Keanu back here? Look,
this is 84. They would have been like children.
Oh,
or like in Channing Tatum's case, even born.
So it's just the whole all white people look alike. Got it.
Yeah. Then I watched a classic.
Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker. Have you guys? Okay, this is strictly for the old folks. When Frankenhooker came out, it was always a draw at the video store because it had like an animated video cover. So like you could push a button and it had effects and.
I don't remember this at all. Wow.
Oh yeah. Well, what kind of video store did you go to that didn't have Frankenhooker?
Probably not the good one.
Clay, you should not be going into that section of the video store.
It was behind the curtain, right? Yeah.
No, this is out in public. I remember my first video store used to have like the Faces of Death on the shelf. Like you could just rent those and it was no big deal. Like I rented those as a kid. But yeah, you could rent Frankenhooker as a kid too, even with
you could. I probably couldn't. I'll tell you
that. It is just a weird ass funny movie of a dude trying to bring his girl back to life from body parts of hookers.
So the box talks.
Yes.
What do you push to make the box talk? And I have a horrible theory. I know what it is.
There was like a button on it. It was that was all it was. And it was promoting.
Oh, I see. Okay. It says press here. Okay. I was afraid it was something else, but go on.
It was the biggest gimmick in VHS. Yeah. She would do her mouth like that.
I'm really digging I can't scroll too far because again, nudity. What the hell?
Hey, it is a rock, man. You have no idea. It was.
But I really like the art on this one. This is really nice.
Here, Daniel, if you want, I'll post it in the private chat. Here's a link to a YouTube video with the working box.
Oh boy.
Again, weird 80s horror that's done with tongue in cheek about the hooker. I mean, it's just weird because, like, at the beginning of the film, the girl that he's trying to bring back his fiance, she is put into some sort of 80s clothing that I don't recall very well, but it's this giant suit that has padding added to it so that you believe she's bigger, so that later when they have to dress her up like the Frankenhooker, she seems like she's made of the hooker body parts. Sorry to spoil anything for a movie from the 80s that no one will watch but me.
God, the 80s were problematic. They just...
There you go.
Hold on, I think.
Want a date? Want a date? And so, like, you would go in to rent a movie, there would just be kids hitting that. Want a date? Want a date? Want a date? You just hear that over and over again.
At least it's not hitting. It's not on the boob.
That's where I thought it was going to be, honestly. So, yeah.
You know, Clay, just when I think you can't surprise me anymore, you pull out Frankenhooker and
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
And then, if you guys want to transition to She-Hulk and Andor,
yeah, just real quick, we went too deep into it since Josh.
It's okay. No, it's fine. I've seen clips of She-Hulk at least, and I hear Andor's amazing. So
brief spoilers for both. I mean, not too deep, but yeah, She-Hulk. Jesus Christ, it's such a good show. So much fun.
So funny.
I love this last episode. I think Kyle mentioned a few of the characters we saw. That's why my name is El Aguila today, who is like deep lore. I mean, all the characters we saw are like deep lore Marvel, like D-listers.
Manbull, the Porcupine, and the Porcupine is fucking fantastic because that looks like someone just said, "Oh, that's what it looks like," and then made it in real life. Like it is right out of the fucking.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't think Porcupine ever takes his mask off though. That's the only thing that I was trying to recall was I don't think I've ever.
I think that was part of the joke. I mean, like I said, I think Zeb Wells knows the comics very well, so like he was bringing all that stuff into the episode.
Oh, so funny to see everyone there, especially one of the wrecking crew, like trying to find peace and. But then that makes me worried for Secret Wars because I want to believe that in some part the Secret Wars movie will have throwbacks to the original, which would include the wrecking crew.
Yep. And the weird, like, give me the relationship between Titania and Mole Man. No, wait, it's not Mole Man. It's
Molecule Man.
Yes, thank you.
I want her to be there real bad. Like there are characters that are in like a comedy space that could go into an action space, and I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So how much do you feel the Disney Plus MCU needed this comedy series?
I think they need to define comics as not a genre, but as a piece of like superhero comedy, superhero horror. I mean, they need to go through every aspect of what they can make. I mean, just limiting themselves to being like, good versus evil is just going to get real boring real quick. So I think,
I was gonna say I wanted to bring up this meme first of like the Thunderbolts we got, the Thunderbolts we wanted, and the Thunderbolts we deserve.
I know. I was staring at that and I go, Tim fucking Roth is standing with Manbull and the Porcupine. Like it is just blows my mind because I was flipping channels the other day and I come up on Rosencrantz and Gilden's.
Oh, I love one of my favorite movies and plays of all time.
And it's Tim Roth and it's Tim Roth and Gary Oldman.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're just like, holy shit, that's like Commissioner Gordon and the Abomination.
Yeah. That is the first thing I ever saw either of them in. And it was weird because immediately after that was the Gary Oldman plays every creepy bad guy role for like the next like 8 years, right?
Yeah, I'm about to watch True Romance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Fucking favorite bad guys he plays.
Yeah.
But back to the question. Yeah, back to the question. I think, people need to understand or like that. Comics can be funny or can be like horror or like with this whole Werewolf by Night. I've seen few, early people that got to see it at Fantastic Fest in Austin this weekend, and they love it. But it's like it's a horror, it's violent. I don't know how it's gonna end up on Disney Plus.
I know that's what I find so fascinating. But yeah, I've been reading it's getting rave reviews, and it's kind of funny. It's all hitting at the same time, right? So it's like Disney is kind of realizing we need to push this genre, and Disney Plus is the perfect place for it. I mean, it's and that's where you do that.
and not everything has to be a building block to the next thing.
Right.
Can you imagine if all the
Right. Yeah.
it'd be impossible to read comics if everything had to be building the next thing, right?
Are
Because
you
otherwise you wouldn't
listening?
get like, huh?
Are
Yeah,
you listening to what Daniel's saying, Marvel
right. And DC.
and DC? Yeah.
But look, I love my Titans, but not everything has to be what the same thing. So yeah, I'm glad they're doing stuff like She-Hulk, and also like, look, I know there's content creators that need the clicks or whatever, but like, if you don't like the show, don't watch the show. Like if you're not on board after 6, like it's not gonna change. They're not
Yeah.
gonna listen and go back like, oh, let's go reshoot it. This guy didn't like the last episode.
Well, and that's why again Disney Plus is the perfect place for this experimentation.
Yeah.
You're not buying a movie ticket
Right.
and taking the time to go do that. You just if you already subscribe, it's there for you. You can love it or hate it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'm really really happy of seeing them kind of, and I mean, and to be honest, they've already been playing with this, but I think in much more nuanced ways with the MCU show stuff, right? You know, you've got everything from highly experimental like WandaVision to basically just like kind of gritty contemporary thriller like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, they've been playing with this, but I think this just continues pushing into new realms. So
Yeah, because I mean, I would love to see Moon Knight interact with She-Hulk, because She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and Moon Knight's stuck in his own head.
yeah,
Would they both think each other's crazy, and would it come from a comedy perspective or a dramatic perspective
yeah.
of someone evaluating their own teammate as a Looney
Right.
Tunes?
And
So-
yeah, it's cool to see Easter eggs, and of course I want to see Daredevil in the show, but that's not the reason I watch the show.
Right.
Like, if you're watching this show just to get a peek of Daredevil, like, you're wasting your time. Like, that's not what this show's about.
Wait for the clips.
Yeah, Wait for the Born Again show, right?
Yeah. Well, and the thing also is for anyone saying, well, this isn't like the comics, screw you. She-Hulk is like this in the comics.
It is like the comics.
Werewolf by Night is a play off of old Universal monster movies. I mean, these are true to the comics. So,
Yep. And that's a good segue too into Andor, because Star Wars also realized that they can do other
Adult.
things differently.
Yeah.
This is a
Better when
war
they do other
political
things.
drama. Andor is a war political drama. Like, that's what it is. It is
Yeah.
so good. I'm really, what are we, 4 episodes in? And I mean, I already can go check out our reviews. I do one every Wednesday. The Rogue One is already my favorite Star Wars movie. So the fact that we go back and revisit, you know, some of these characters that are in that show or that world, or even just the themes of that movie, is really cool. I never thought we would kind of go back there, because obviously the way Rogue One ends, like, we lead into everything that we know right after that. So it's such a cool stuff, and the Gilmore is
it's
really good.
just like Hamlet too.
Yeah,
But it is interesting to see how he's radicalized.
yeah,
You know, that's what this arc is about, is like, what does it take to radicalize somebody against a government?
and the commentary on, like, yeah, these corporations, which I know it's a little bit different, but like the corporation that acts as this third party intermediary between the Empire and all these little planets and stuff, like, yeah, it's definitely commentary on, like, society of, like, these corporations are the Empire. It's an analogy that keeps on coming. And if you go back and listen to some of George Lucas' arguments from the beginning, like, it was a commentary on Vietnam, right? So, like, Star Wars
and
has always been-
World War II, yeah.
yeah. So Star Wars has always been, and I think the people misunderstand who the Empire is supposed to represent in some of those movies. So
Exactly. Which is kind of his fault for naming them stormtroopers, right?
yeah, right, yeah, and then using some German words and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But outside of the story, the visuals to me are the biggest part of it, because it's beyond Star Wars. Like, you don't just have your Bacta tanks and your usual shit running around. Like, they use some of the visuals. Like, it looks like there's art that I've seen from Heavy Metal,
Yep.
from Tron. There's a lot of neon use and a lot of Blade Runner look. looks. I mean,
And
they use the environment a lot better than everything we've seen on Tatooine now, because
as
now
much
we're in
as
a new place.
as much as I love and as much as great as it looks, that big whatever screen that they have at
Right.
Lucasfilm, like
Which
whatever
they
the
use
Unreal
now
Engine, all that stuff,
instead of green screen.
you can't you can only do so much to mimic being in a real set and a real location. And this place, you can tell it was shot at real places and real locations. I think in my video I said that episode 3 is probably the best 30 minutes of TV I've watched this year. So I can't wait to hear what you think of that, Josh. And I don't know, Clay, if you agree or not, but
I'm gonna probably rewatch them all because
okay.
like those first 3 are like a consumption of like a movie.
3, if you put the 3 together, the first 3 together, I think that would also be like one of my favorite Star Wars movie if you just broke it off into like a movie. But yeah,
Yeah,
that third one, holy shit. So really fun stuff. I can't wait. I'm
yeah.
so
I
glad
want
we're
to break
getting
down the
sequels of it.
characters. Like once you get caught up, Josh, let's
Okay.
like we need to look
Yeah.
at each character because the guy who like fitted his own military uniform, like that guy fucking rules because he's a great at being bad.
Yeah.
But he looks like Niles from Frasier.
Oh yeah.
And I can't get past
awesome.
that looking at him and he's like,
Yeah.
this looks like Niles from Frasier.
And these are also just about 30 minutes. I think the longest one is like 40 minutes, but these are
Yeah.
also very short. Not as short as She-Hulk. Because once you take off the credits and all that for She-Hulk, you end up with it's a sitcom, like a 22-minute episode.
Yeah.
So
It's shot
highly
really
recommend both
well.
of them.
Like it's very cinematic. Like this would be something
Oh, yeah.
that would play great on the big screen.
Like I
And
said, if you love the visuals from Rogue One, you're gonna love the visuals here. Like it's all
Yeah.
very similar.
There's
Well,
like a
right.
shot. There's a shot in the first episode of Cassian going through a tunnel, and they use the outline of the neon, and it's almost like saying you're going into a new world. This is new and
Yeah.
different Star Wars,
Nice.
and this
It felt like very neo noir, which I know we saw a little bit in the Obi-Wan series, but they really so many
But
different
don't they? I have vague memories because again, I've only ever seen them once. But doesn't like episode 2 use a lot of neon and that
Yeah,
like, in
and
the
when
in the
they're in
design of the
when they're in Coruscant and they're looking for
Right.
the
assassin?
bounty hunter
Yeah.
that try to kill Padme, like they go into the club and then like Obi-Wan's got his mullet and then I love when he goes into the diner because then you get like this is George Lucas is doing like he loves his 50s American graffiti type of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So really cool.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm kind of curious if once it wraps up, like on because you guys keep saying how like cinematic it is, and the first 3 kind of feel like a film. If like on Star Wars Day a year or 2 from now, they just in theaters release all of Andor, followed by Rogue One, followed by Episode 4, right? Like just like link them all up.
That'd be crazy because you'd have to watch 2 seasons of Andor.
Oh fuck!
Because it's gonna be 2 seasons we've been told, and then we told that the season 2 will lead up right into Rogue One.
Nice. So is the whole cast coming back from Rogue One for Andor?
I don't think so because we wouldn't really know Jen Urso unless we saw what Jen Urso was up to on her own.
Right. Okay.
Maybe leading up to that, but who knows? I love to see Alan Tudyk come back and
I guess so. We don't know how they've met up.
Well, there is a comic, but I don't know if they would keep that canon. So, like, I would love them to just integrate the comic into the series too.
That'd be cool.
I feel like from the stuff I read that was Obi-Wan related, and then Obi-Wan the show, it's very close. So,
yeah,
there may be like people who oversee the timeline.
Oh yeah,
comics and TV are about the same.
I love it. I love it because it's people that they've grown up watching this stuff. They care about it. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, like. Now Charles Soule really overseeing everything that's printed. So, good question over here from Lego. Where's Ben Mendelsohn and Matt Mikkelsen show?
Oh fuck yeah! I would love that Ben Mendelsohn show.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Those would be great. And those can be shorter too, right? Well, the Ben Mendelsohn could be like a whole big political thing of him rising to the top. I guess one thing we need to talk about. All the stuff on the Empire side, we barely gotten more of a glimpse in these last few episodes than we did in the first 3. I think the last one really gave us a little bit more of a look in there. So I'm very excited to see just like these. They're just bad people. They're just bad
Yeah,
people, and
like
they
every episode with Evil Niles is
yeah
like a new door to what the Empire's like. You know, like when he brings on a guy to help him,
yeah
and that guy's just angry and ready to fight.
yeah
And you're just like, holy shit, tone this guy down. And then you put Evil Niles in front of a group of people and have him speak, but he's not a great speaker, and you can tell that the audience is really there just to fight and beat up people. Like they're not
yeah.
motivated by this dude; they're motivated by
And
violence.
Stellan Skarsgård in the latest episode has a scene that it's probably like just some of really fantastic 20-30 seconds of acting. It gave me a lot of vibes just the way it was shot as to when the Joker's in the restroom in the Joker movie.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
kind of transforming, like very
Yeah.
similar vibe. I mean, obviously very different material,
Yeah.
Right.
but yeah, Stellan Skarsgård, fantastic actor. So I like his character a lot, and so
And now Mon Mothma.
oh yeah,
We're gonna see like Mon Mothma and her evolution into like
Uh,
full rebel.
really happy for the actress because she thought she was just getting a small role in Rogue One to kind of recapture Mon Mothma from that time, and now she gets to reprise the role and have a whole series with it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I want to learn
love
about
it.
the Bothans that actually died.
Yeah,
So here's a question: if they're able to take what was admittedly a troubled production of Rogue One and turn that into gold, and then take Andor to build off of that, can they redeem Solo by doing a Solo series?
I wish.
I know, right? Because I wanted to like that movie, but it just
It's still fun to watch. It's just if you start to tie it into everything, it falls apart, and I hate
Yeah.
that.
I don't.
'Cause
I
do
think
enjoy
they could
the-
redeem. They could redeem Solo by giving us the Donald Glover movie series that we all want.
yes, that is.
I'd rather follow.
absolutely
I'd
good
rather
point.
follow Lando.
Yeah, you're right. I would.
They could do it at like a Big Trouble in Little China, where you think Kurt Russell's the star, and you think Han Solo's the star, but he's the sidekick.
He's the
And
sidekick.
Chewie is the star. That would be a great fucking
that would
show.
be good. That would be really good.
Even Lando would. You would think he's the star. No, he's also the sidekick to Chewie. That would just be the funniest film of those two trying to outdo each other in front of Chewie, who's like leading the whole story.
But it has to be a series, is the thing. So I'm thinking
yeah.
Andor's a series. This has to be like a Disney Plus series, right? Give them that space to like explore. So
Great comment here. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård could be the best Joker ever. That just hasn't been cast.
yeah,
And then also Leonard Kim. He loves the idea because we would get more Kira. I love Kira. I'm glad she's in the comics, and I hope we see her more. This feels like a good place to transition into the news because we are speculating a little bit about the future. And the first bit of news that we got, really fun video, Ryan Reynolds. We're getting a Deadpool 3 movie in 2024, and we have Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. What the fuck is happening?
Greatness.
Thoughts, gentlemen.
You
thoughts.
can't replace him. You can't replace him.
my theory is they're going to, though. My theory is they bring him back for one more to just finally give us the Deadpool Wolverine team up that Deadpool has been teasing since the first movie. And hard R. And then at the end of it, they're going to introduce the multiverse version of, well, the multiverse version being the MCU's version of Wolverine. That's my theory. Well, I'm sure I'm wrong.
You mentioned you saw a video of somebody that can read lips.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on what they said about the second announcement that was covered up by songs?
Now, and if you play the video, you can hear them very slightly under the music, right? So, and I think they kept that in because the lip reader realized they're just kind of making shit up at the moment. I mean, it's like it's nothing official. It's like, and then Wolverine like does this, and then so it's like. I think they're just like goofing. So there wasn't anything actually that I read revelatory about the film at all. Or I mean, clearly it's gonna have to take place before Logan and they even said that, right? Yes, we're not,
I don't think
Logan-
so. I don't think it has to take place before Logan. I think it could be just like Logan's its own separate. Everything's a multiverse now. We can do whatever we want.
True. But they would. I mean, the only way I could see them bringing back Jackman as Wolverine and keeping him as Wolverine, if he's going to be an older version of Wolverine in the MCU, that
Old
is
man Wolverine.
yeah,
Old man Logan.
that is overseeing maybe a younger team of mutants. That's the only way I can see it. So
He's
maybe
running the school. Like in one of my favorite series. I love Wolverine and the X-Men when he's running the school.
yeah, exactly. So, but I still, I kind of feel like Feige wants a fresh start with all the mutants, which is why we haven't seen them yet, right? And so I suspect this is going to be a very fun kind of last gasp, very different than Logan, right? Just to let them introduce the mutants in the way that maybe Feige wants, because you can do anything in Deadpool, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
oh, sorry.
I just want to say, like, hard R, because like you want to think team up, but you want to see these two fight, who have healing factors that would just heal as they beat the shit out of each other. I mean, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see what happened in Wolverine Origins.
I will tell you what I want to see, actually. I want to see them fight, but only because it is specifically a parody of that scene in They Live. Right? So it's just them like riffing on that, and at the end they're best buds and they go off and do whatever. So
he's trying to expose him. You're part of a multiverse. Come look. I'm not looking. I'm also curious if She-Hulk will show up just for the fourth wall.
I wondered that too. Yeah.
Like she's like, "Are you talking to them?" And then he's like, "How are you talking to them?"
There's different thems, like they go to different cameras, So
yeah, we got some comments in the chat. Let's see. Hugh Jackman's older than my parents. They got to replace him eventually.
Yeah, he could be Old Man Logan.
And Lagolt's an undead 300-year-old vampire, so like this is pretty old.
And now with the MCU, you could tell the Old Man Logan story by Mark Miller, the one where with Red Skull and
that's where all the mutants were. Wolverine killed them all. Logan takes place in 2029, so it would likely take place when the movie comes out. Why a movie in 2024 would take place in 2029, given Logan exists. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, Logan's the perfect ending for that story, so I think this is gonna be something different, or I hope. And then when those Deadpool gets about sealed,
Legoland with the harsh memory.
Yeah. I do. Those highlights come up every once in a while. I also wish they would bring back some of the other X-Force members that we saw in Deadpool 2. Brad Pitt as the Vanisher.
Yes.
We had Bill Skarsgård as Zeitgeist. Louis Tan was Shatterstar. Hold on, give me a second, Clay.
Man,
I do own this because Target.
Oh, God damn it! Jesus Christ!
For $5.
I bought a X-Men Quadrilogy, and it was the first 3 movies and X-Men Wolverine, because it was on sale from like I don't know a long time ago, one of those Prime sales or something.
The only thing I've never seen it. The only thing I know about that movie was the moment in the trailer when he jumps his motorcycle over a helicopter, and that was the moment I realized I don't want to see this movie. So
many bad choices in that movie.
Yeah.
I do hope we get Sassy Beats back as Domino. I think she was one of the highlights.
Was amazing, and I hope we get her that too. Yeah, that was incredible.
And like everybody, really. What's her name?
Oh,
Negasonic Teenage War.
Yeah, she's great.
Kimiko.
Colossus, give me more Colossus, man. I love.
Yeah. This was. I think I like the Deadpool movies.
Hold on. What do you got?
What happened?
They've established Colossus in Deadpool. We're getting Wolverine. We're going to get a screen fastball special.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's happening. It's happening.
Finally.
I thought Josh found breaking news or something. I was like,
no, I had the most important realization I've ever had in my life. Okay. So
fastball special could be
fastball special.
Oh yeah, Cable. Oh man, and when Cable comes back, we can do more references to Thanos.
Yeah.
Leonard Kim. I want Deadpool, Wolverine, and Cable together in one shot. Yeah, I think we live for those stupid, like those screenshots that are just big spreads that we loved from the comics as kids.
Right.
So, I'm very excited. I like Wolverine a lot. I know there was a wild theory that somebody I saw on a chat or Discord or something. Hugh Jackman, one of the reasons he stopped being Wolverine is because he wanted to focus on musicals. So what if Deadpool 3 is gonna be a musical, and that's how they kind of convinced him to come back?
Oh shit!
Listen, Joker's doing it.
I was about to say, yeah.
So everything's gonna be a musical in 2024.
Finally, Marvel copies a DC film. So
Yeah. Well, if you think, if some people might tell you that Eternals was a copy of a DC film.
I still haven't seen it. Actually,
No,
I need
you
to.
should. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Next up, we have Armor Wars has been now turned into a movie, or is going to be a movie instead of a series. Which the main thing I got out of this is like good for Don Cheadle because he has been patient with that character. He's been putting in the work ever since he took over for Terrence Howard. I'm here. It's me. Get used to it. And yeah, that seems like a really interesting change of plans. Seeing how maybe that's why they didn't really talk about Armor Wars in D23 or any of that stuff.
That would make sense because they may maybe they were still renegotiating the contract for that. I was also kind of curious if maybe this is this being story driven, right? Like they realize the story needs to be told more in a kind of like condensed cinematic way, or is it maybe more schedule driven? Like maybe Cheadle just has so much going on he can't commit to film a whole series.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, also they might have seen some of the reception on some of these series that it's not doing the big numbers that they want, and they feel they can get more money out of the theater.
Yeah,
because I think for the theater they know that they're gonna get at least a certain number back, right? I think those Marvel films are kind of proven. And Armor Wars, from what I remember, it's a pretty small event in the comics. It's not very long as far as like the story.
Well, and so are they gonna? I mean, Obadiah Stane, like he's the villain in Armor Wars, right?
Yeah.
So they can't bring him back because he's dead.
I think he's got a kid in the comics too.
Okay, all right.
Who could be a replacement? I mean, and we know that Riri Williams is going to might be her offshoot, like Black Panther was in Civil War. So
that makes you wonder also if they're thinking if we make Armor Wars a series, and the next big cinematic event is Ironheart, right? If audiences don't watch Armor War in the theater, are they not going to understand the bridge to Ironheart?
Yeah, maybe because I think Ironheart, that's supposed to be a series, so maybe they didn't want the same character to only be in 2 series.
Oh, that makes more sense.
To make her feel more important, like, oh, you're coming from the movies.
Yep.
Now you have to follow this character in a series.
That makes absolute sense. Okay. Kind of like they did with America Chavez, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Let's skip down to the Warner Bros. News because I want Clay here for the other stuff that we're going to talk about. So now, Josh, you saw this, and I have a follow-up thing. So you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So just it seems like every week my news feed is what?
No, yeah, every week
is just filled with like more and more like HBO Max, Warner Brothers cuts, even down to like there is a second. And I don't know off the top of my head, so this is on me. Apologies. There's a second show that they are just never going to, like, it's done. I think it's in the can. They're just not going to release it, and they're going to destroy it, and it's just gone. Yeah. Which, again, I cannot, like, you keep hearing more and more creators who are, like, basically saying, like, I'll never work with them again because I can't trust that they're not going to do this with what we create,
or the other worry is now, like, if you go work at someone else, what's to stop them from doing the same thing?
Yes, exactly. So that's a good point. So will this kind of tip the hand almost like back in the 90s when Image first emerged, where these types of practices led to more creator owned stuff? I wonder if we're going to start seeing that. Because with the streaming industry, that's a lot easier to do now, right?
I hope it at least leads to better negotiation of contracts because um, I think there's a pretty strong union for all these creators in
Yeah.
Hollywood, and so hopefully they can leverage that into better contracts going forward. That whereas let's say you want to write it off, maybe there's a clause where like, well, I can take my own creation and go pitch it somewhere else or something like that. Whereas at least the work is not ultimately destroyed and never seen by anyone. Because
Right.
I think that has to be like the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just as a creator, that's like your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, one follow up to this that I did see is that any of those series or movies or whatever things that have been written off and destroyed, I think Final Space is a good example. People are seeing that it's now disappeared from their digital library, even though it was like an actual purchase.
Right.
So now,
Well,
I guess,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, this is just kind of like a beware thing because when you do digital purchases like that, you're really just renting out the license until however long they want to give it to you or however long they have it, right?
Yeah.
So like anything you buy on iTunes, like movies and stuff like that.
Although there is one interesting example this week outside of movies and TV, and that is Google announced they're closing Stadia, their gaming service, and what they're doing, because I'm invested in this, is they are completely refunding any of the games that you purchased. And if you bought through their website, like the controller and stuff, they're going to refund those. So it's sort of like, yeah, we fucked up. We're going to close this down. Because you don't own these games, you can't continue playing them after January. So we're just going to refund you, which I thought was a really good. I mean, they're probably just trying to avoid a class action lawsuit, but I thought that was a really good kind of move on their part.
Yeah. We got a few comments on all this stuff. So I'll go in the chat. Simon, I think Simon has a clause in the contract with Netflix that if Netflix doesn't continue the series, they can shop it somewhere else. I mean, I hope they do renew the series, even though I haven't finished season 1, and that might be part of the reason why they're not making an announcement yet. But yeah, I think this should be the thing where you could take your art, and I know, well, I guess Neil Gaiman owns Sandman in this case, but if it's like a Batman or Constantine or whatever series, like that's a little more complicated because it's really Warner Brothers stuff, right?
Well, and I mean, and really, he's kind of got competing versions of Sandman right now. You've got the Audible series, which season 3 just dropped, and you've got the Netflix series. So it's like, that makes sense. Like you're saying, he owns the IP and the property. Yeah. He doesn't want to have it locked behind specific services. So
right. So and yes, physical media. This is the reason I still buy like some of the movies that I really like.
Yep.
And comics too, physically, because nobody's gonna come and take my. Well, I guess they could, but I'll fight them. But nobody's gonna come and take my comics.
You will beat them over the head with your steelbook version of Justice League. So, there it is. Oh yeah. No, it's funny you say that, Legoland, because I'm the same way, and I was trying to explain to my brother like why I use a Plex server. And he's like, I have all my stuff on iTunes. I just buy movies there. They're anywhere I want. I'm like, yeah, but I own these things, right? I buy or rent the DVD. I rip it. I put it on my Plex server, and now I own it. It's a file that I own. I can take anywhere. It doesn't have to. If Plex goes away, I still have that file. So
yeah. And this really sucks. Some movies never get Blu-ray or DVD releases now. So
there's absolutely no way to see them.
I get stuck.
I did bury the lead. Apologies. I think we jumped to the big picture. So the specific news this week was that because of these Warner Brother decisions, a bunch of shows have been removed from Adult Swim's website, and I think also from streaming services. It includes Blade Runner Black Lotus, Finna Pirate Princess, Laser Wolf, Shenmue the animation, and Tigtone. So, again, to your point, Lego, if these things are not available in other formats, there's just no watching them now.
Right. Well, there's ways.
Yeah, exactly. The internet.
You take to the high seas.
It's a good
Right.
life.
Let's see. While we wait for Clay, let's talk about the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
Josh-
I wish Clay was here for this one too.
Yeah. I think he's coming back.
Okay.
So I didn't want to talk about the other two things without him. So
Yeah, no, totally.
But-
No, this came out of nowhere. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, like, what are your feelings on the trilogy that we already have from this?
I feel like I love the classic movies. I love the new trilogy. The new trilogy did end, right? But I feel like it ends in a place where there are more stories to tell. And I think also more stories that have really never been told before, right? The original movies, this new series are all about that moment of the apes and the humans and the moment where the balance tips, right?
Yeah.
That's where the last movie ends. So if this is about kind of going forward and just what it is like for the apes to establish the world that they now dominate, I'm all in. That has never been done before. I'm really excited.
I mean, just based on this concept art that was released, like these are, I know they look like they're buildings.
They're buildings,
These are their buildings, and they're
it's like shells of buildings. So
there's something about the imagery of an ape riding a horse that is just so cool.
Yeah,
just
and that
cool. Like
and that hawk. I mean, it's like I was saying. I don't remember if I was saying it in our Discord or what, but I've been just for fun at night. If I have 30 minutes to kill, I'll throw on Thundar the Barbarian, and the thing I love about Thundar is, it's so dark for a kid's show, but when they're moving through this universe and you see just little post-apocalyptic snippets of the world that there's something really compelling about that. And it looks like this is what Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is going to do. Sorry, Clay, before you jumped back on, I was saying I'm really excited for this because I know.
It's a different timeline. It's all explaining that large, big diagram that somebody made up, where it takes you back around, and it even includes the Tim Burton film somehow.
Well, but also, like, doesn't Conquest also, like, it's still at that moment in time where there's tension between the humans and the apes, right? I know the humans by that point, or is that Battle? I get Conquest and Battle confused.
Should I refer to my library?
Yes, please.
Finally.
Legoland's like diagrams. I love diagrams.
Diagrams are the best.
But I just like I can't think of a moment in Planet of the Apes history where we get all of that is done. We're now setting up the ape world, right?
I forget how tall Clay is until I just saw you like all the way up to the thing with your shelf, and I was like, oh shit, that's like. Because I guess we did see each other earlier, but yeah, it's really.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other except for like one time in the past 3 years,
and that was more than enough.
So no TV series.
God damn it!
Edit all those out when you post this. Yep, I'm still watching Return, but again, like every one of those, including Return. It's about more humans coming to the Planet of the Apes, right? Like, yep, there we go. See, I will be intrigued if this is just the apes, right? Like, this is the apes setting up their world. I don't know. I'm purely speculating now, but
I want just like scenes of the apes talking about taxes and
right, right.
I want them to figure out capitalism is bad. That's what doomed all the people.
I mean, in the original, they kind of live in a socialist society, right? I mean, you have your tiers, but never
big ape, strong ape win. No.
Oh, and I will point out for fans of the comic book collection, Planet of the Apes by Marvel, they're putting out an omnibus here in the next few months.
That's right. Yeah.
Huge Planet of the Apes fan.
When this movie drops, we might need to bring in Lego with the.
That would be awesome.
That way we have more people that know, because I have watched one of the old movies, and that's it. And that's probably all I'm gonna watch.
Which one?
I just the first one.
Okay, all right. I was like, please tell me the only one you didn't watch was the third one where they go back in time.
Yeah.
Which I love, by the way. I think that is
It's
my favorite
great,
of the classics.
But you need the first two to get to that one.
Absolutely.
because-
Yeah, this is a
Very anti-
better. It's a French property. It's very anti-bourgeois. So yeah.
That is so true. Yes.
I forget that is a French thing. Like, but we do need to get Tim Roth back in these movies, though. Come on,
Yeah,
Tim Roth.
Just Tim Roth.
Well, maybe Paul Giamatti too.
I'm
Giamatti was good. Yeah.
okay with like Helena Bonham Carter. I mean,
Yeah.
them as apes were fine.
Yeah.
It was the bullshit ending and all the Marky Mark that I didn't like about that movie.
Yeah, less Marky Mark, more apes.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to Michael Clark Duncan, one of my favorite apes.
Yeah.
He was
God,
so
he is
good
good
in
at
that.
Yeah, speaking of Michael Clark Duncan, real quick, before I know we got other things to cover and we'll wrap it up, but
We always
somebody
got time for
posted
him.
somebody posted him as Kingpin, and they said if this had come out today, people would be calling it woke. And I was like, God, you're right, because
God, you're right. That's
nobody
so
even made a
interesting.
fuss about the Kingpin not being this white dude. Maybe they did, we just didn't hear about it as much.
You know, it's funny. I had a similar thought thinking back over the Batman '89 series about how I don't recall it making a ripple much when they announced they were going to cast Wei-In as Robin, but today it'd be the same thing. It'd be like, oh, this is woke having a black Robin. So
I think this comment's for you guys. I don't know what it means.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
So
yeah.
Well, see, I've always thought since Caesar was like the main character of the latest series, that his kids would be Zira and Cornelius.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah,
you know, the one piece of media set in the new series I've not yet experienced, I own it, is the video game. And I'm curious what it does.
Is it the Telltale game?
It might.
Well, I don't know if it's a Telltale, but it's very.
It's like that. Yeah, it's not very action oriented. It's very like story driven, right?
Like
I played through it.
Is it good?
It's about another section of apes that have left on their own, so it's all completely independent.
Is Woody Harrelson in it?
No.
God, I can't believe all the actors that.
It's Gary Oldman in it.
No, it's worth playing through. It's fun. But again, yeah, it's really quick. Like you'll play through it. Like I don't remember how many hours I spent on it, but
that's kind of what I want, though. I mean, I bought it on sale on my console, so I just kind of want to play
it's
it.
all about the political points now. Anyways, speaking of politics, let's go back to Greendale because a Community movie was announced this week. Fucking insane!
Oh, so excited!
Hold on, let me see if I can get it
in the morning.
Hey, I did it on the first try.
Good job, man. I am so hyped. It will make me a little sad if they can't get Donald Glover back. And I know he's super busy.
Then Nicole Brown's also kind of not fully.
Yeah, I know. But they did bring her. You know, they had the little in bits with her and what's his face from Wings. Was it season 5 or 6 they did that.
Yeah, the Yahoo season. I really don't care if
Steven Weber.
If Chevy Chase doesn't come back. I mean, which he probably can't because the character's dead.
Right. I think they should bring him back. I mean, maybe it's like a callback or a video or something if they want to be really nice to him.
Hologram. Just bring the hologram back.
Yeah.
Make him not interact with any of the actors. I mean, the older I get, the more shit I find out about Chevy Chase. It's like I've just kept 2 movies that are like Foul Play and Caddyshack. Like those are the ones he can ruin everything else. I don't care about Fletch. Just let him be.
I mean, now you got a new Fletch now, and people are living.
I've heard great things about the new Fletch.
I do like that first Fletch movie. I will give him Fletch. Like if it's on, I will sit and watch it. Not Fletch 2, but Fletch.
Yeah.
As long as we can take back the 3 Amigos. That should have been cast with Hispanic actors, but I digress. Anyways,
I think that was the point of the parody, though.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Bad point. Bad parody.
Well, I mean, they're based on like old, like black and white serials that would have these like white cowboys, you know, in very
I
like.
don't know if that makes it better.
Well, I know, but I mean, that's kind of part of the deal. Is like that's exactly what was put on film back in the day, were these very clean cut cowboys that were all white. And,
All right, there we go. We can. It looks like we're about to keep only like 3 or 4 Chevy Chase movies. So Caddyshack and Fletch. From I'll look on the chat.
I still love the Foul Play, even for it being a rom-com.
Is
But
Foul
we
the one
can
where he
keep,
did-
we can
like-
keep Vegas Vacation too, since that was my favorite.
I would take the first Vacation.
I just like Vegas Vacation is so dumb. I don't know
I've
why.
never seen it, but I think
It's very bad. It's not.
Very, very bad.
I just
Very
love. Well, what's the name of the brother? He's one of the Quades, right?
Randy.
Yeah. He's such an obnoxious character, and it's so funny. And then like the kids are a little bit older, so they get into like Vegas shenanigans. So
Yeah, I believe it's Ethan Embry plays Rusty in that one.
yeah. So but yeah, I'm excited about the movie. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna come out on Peacock, so we'll be able to watch it easily accessible for sure.
What do you?
How he was able to pull this off?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've been trying to think. What do you think the plot's going to be? Are they going to have to save Greendale again?
It has to be, right?
But you have to get Troy, so you have to go get Troy off the boat.
Oh, okay.
I want to believe that it's like a world traveling escapade.
Ooh.
What if his boat's in the parking lot?
Still, he never left.
Yeah,
He never left.
He started like some kind of online business just from the boat.
They just didn't notice. He's been there the whole time.
I want to see what him and LeVar Burton would do on a boat for a long period of time.
Oh, yeah.
God, that'd be amazing.
Nothing. Troy would just sit there like Rocky back and forth. Yeah. I think I want the plot to be that Annie has like now, because she was the one person that was successful out of that, and now works for this like evil corporation that wants to destroy the college because they bought the land, and now Jeff and the gang have to, and Britta has to get everyone back, including Jeff, since he's a lawyer, to stop them from destroying Greendale.
But I'm going to say the director has to be Justin Lin. Because Justin Lin directed all the paintball episodes.
I would like the Russo
No,
brothers.
wait, I thought it was the.
I thought the Russo did the
paintball episodes.
Let's double check this.
I know both of them did Community, so I think I would be good with either as directors.
Let's see here.
I do want, if your story proves to be right, Daniel, which I'm on board with.
He directed Modern Warfare, Interpretive Dance, and Introduction to Statistics. So Modern Warfare
is the paintball one.
Is the paintball one.
But the
first paintball one.
The second one must have been
the Russos. Must have been the Russos.
Okay. Anyway, if it does end up where they're basically pitted against Annie, I really hope that they're helped by Annie's boobs.
That's great.
that was almost my name today. I almost went with Annie's boobs. So
we do have evil real estate.
Yeah, right.
It's so cliche, but I mean, unfortunately, it still works.
They turn into the Scooby-Doo gang.
It works. Yeah, it works now more than ever, I think.
The
evil real estate developer. Talking to you, Bezos. Stop buying up homes. You don't need them. Anyways, the last bit of news we have here. Speaking of holograms, Clay, do you want to hit us with this Bruce Willis news?
So, a deep fake company has bought the digital rights to Bruce Willis to continue making movies after he is, like, right now he's currently sick with the disease. So it really makes me question the process of this, because the disease is eating at his mind and doesn't necessarily help in making decisions or talking or obviously shooting some movies, if you've seen some of the movies he's done. But it's his digital likeness for them to continue to make movies with. And it's just weird that, as sick as he is, that he would be able to make that decision. And it makes me think, like, is his family just like selling everything they can of himself and parting him out? because this digital is like, it makes him an intellectual property.
Yeah.
I would believe it would. And then my next theory is they should only hold the copyright to it for 75 years because that's the copyright rule. And then Bruce Willis would be in the public domain.
Unless, what if deep fake Bruce Willis becomes next generation's Mickey Mouse and is always the reason that Congress extends the copyright date, right? Because that's originally why it's now 75 years. And Mickey's coming up to that again, too. So it'll be intriguing to see what happens. But
it's Disney lawyers. If you have Disney lawyers, maybe. But this is a deep fake company right now. They're not even movie producers. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. And I mean, does that mean we could get any age Bruce Willis? Can we get like a young Bruce Willis to play his adversary in a Looper sequel?
Right.
You know, my other theory is that I would love to make a Look Who's Talking, but like the kid is now like in his 40s and the voice is still in his head, but it's very depressed and it just tells him the most depressing things. And that's Look Who's Talking 45.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that the kid grew up to look like Bruce Willis.
No, we're still going to use his voice. I don't care who the actor is, but the voice inside his head isn't as happy as he was when he was a baby. And now it's just that depressed voice in there telling him sad things.
Well, in similar news, we saw that James Earl Jones is retiring from playing Darth Vader, but he has signed like a deal or something with Disney where they can still use that AI artificial intelligence thing to, I guess, voice Vader as needed with his likeness, the likeness of his voice. So that's pretty weird.
And I don't know. I didn't see in the Bruce Willis thing. I just saw his likeness. I would assume that would also include his voice if they're going to make movies. I mean, how could you not include that piece of it?
Right.
Or is that a DLC they're going to sell later?
Or, Lego with the comment, hear me out, other younger actors exist. Yeah, technology is definitely getting real creepy.
We talked about this movie. I mean, there was a movie in the 80s about digital replacements in movies. I'm trying to remember the name of it. No, it was like 30 years before that.
God,
it's kind of like what they did with George McFly's dad, right? Or I guess George McFly. That the actor never came back for the second movie, and
that led to an interesting legal battle.
Yeah.
That again, kind of like I don't know all the particulars of the outcome, but it kind of led to a reconsideration of like actors like rights and their appearance and so on.
Yeah, that Back to the Future mention was just for the Galtsons in the chat. But I think it's definitely weird and creepy because what's to say that deepfake company uses it for like family entertainment? I'll call it only, right?
You guys,
they could do people just make them do real weird shit.
You want to hear something really sad?
No, never. What?
I'm looking.
Yes.
I'm looking at Bruce Willis's IMDb page, and from 2015 to 2020, he made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. He made roughly 20 appearances in stuff.
Yeah.
He made more than that in the last 2 years. So, I guess the takeaway from that would be like he knew this was coming. He's just knocking out appearances left and right.
Yeah, he's trying to build a nest egg and
exactly. It's so sad. It's like God, poor guy. I mean,
but I worry that it's like his family just selling off every part of him that they can just to like. It's just very creepy. Mentally, you're not all there, but you make these $1 million decisions.
And we've heard similar things from Stanley's, the people that were around him, and stuff. So especially after his wife passed, Crispin Glover sued over that, and actors own the rights, which I guess leads to Bruce Willis being able to do this. And then there's don't Google this. Don't Google deepfake if you don't want.
Do
to.
not look up my name with deep
Oh boy,
porno. All right, you're gonna get so many hits. It's crazy.
you're gonna get so many David Cross pornos.
Mr. Show, Triple X parody. Arrested Development.
Hey, but at least
Hanging in the chipmunks.
it's all never nude, right? So like there's you can only see so much.
Okay. So in 1981, there was a movie with Albert Finney called Looker, and it was about digital replacement actors.
Oh,
Okay.
So, and it's worth revisiting. I thought it was awesome because it was just anytime somebody would get famous, the company that they had a contract would go in and kill them, and then just use their digital likeness in everything, so people thought they were alive.
yeah. All right. Well, we've come to the end of the show. Before we head out and give you recommendations, I want to give a quick shout out to our patrons, Sabrina, Mike, the I Read Comic Books podcast, which if you haven't checked out, go listen to it. I'm in some episodes sometimes. And also Final Neo, our big patron supporters. And also everyone in the chat, Lego, Leonard Kim, Greg, Shelby, and Alex, who did not comment while the show was on. But he did leave us a message pre-show, so we appreciate that. We are on our way to 1,000, hopefully before the end of the year, at 861 subscribers. So I did the math. We need about 45 people a month for the rest of the year, which has been a number we've hit before. Hopefully Wheel of Time comes back, and then we get all those subs from there, because that really helped.
Out of nowhere.
But yeah, if you have friends that are not subscribed, grab their phones, get on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. They'll never know. It's not like I post 3 videos a day every day of the week. So liar. Let's hit those recommendations so we can get out of here. I'll actually let me start since I'm already talking. I want to recommend to you guys, and I'm very thankful to the creators. Hold on, let me make sure I do it right. Go check out Forest Hills Bootleg Society.
Oh.
It's a new graphic novel by Dave Baker and Nicole Go, Emmy-nominated creators. Dave actually sent me a copy of this to preview, and we have a review in the channel. But
Nice.
It's such a cool. I mean, first of all, like this is a Scholastic Simon and Schuster book, which we've never reviewed, so that was really cool. But yeah, it revolves around this group of friends that they watch anime, they love anime, and then they decide to make that a business, and they sell bootlegs of it. Back in 2005, but they live in this really conservative town. They go to a very conservative school, so really fun stuff. And yeah, the art is beautiful. Both of the creators are really talented. And actually, after this, I'm gonna try to go find a copy in my bookstore because I read a PDF and I really like the look of the book. So I'm very excited to go hunt that down. Let's see, Clay, you're holding something that looks heavy, so I'll let you go next.
Half Price Books.
Yes.
That is my recommendation. I'll also note that that's where my wife works. So I went and cataloged everything that I had of Alpha Flight during the show. I'm missing 6 issues.
Wow.
So my collection is almost there.
Yay.
Nice.
Amazing.
Thank you, Half Price
Amazing.
Books.
I wish they would bring back their 25 cents comic day
Yes.
on Wednesdays. The flagship location used to have that, and that's how I filled out a lot of my early 2000s Marvel and DC runs. And then Josh, what do you got for us?
Let me share my
You wanna share your
screen.
screen? Yeah.
There we go. Mine is again a humble bundle. It's the Fantasy RPG Comics bundle. If you like your fantasy, if you like your role-playing games, if you like comics, well, let me tell you, this is the bundle for you. It's got Legends of Baldur's Gate, so stuff set in one of the D&D worlds. All the Pathfinder comic series is in here. which I already own, or I would get it. It has Jim Zub Skull Kickers, which I've never read, but I'm really intrigued. So and
Die.
Yeah, all right.
Does he have all of Die? Is it all 20?
No, it's just volume 1, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Which, yeah, if you're a role-playing game person and you read Die, you will feel very bad.
Or if you back the Die Kickstarter and you're waiting for your stuff to come out before the end of the year, like me, and maybe Josh, did you back it?
I didn't. No.
Oh, okay. Well, whenever I get it, we'll definitely check it out.
That book bummed me out so much, and I'm like, do I want to play in this world? I don't know. So
yes, I want to bum you guys out.
That's fair. I'll play in that. So it's a really good bundle. Again, it's $15 for all that. And it's got 12 days left, so still time.
Cool. All right. Well, that's been our show. I think I had a great time.
It was awesome.
Always.
And always fun to have people in the chat talking to us about stuff. Really cool news. We'll come back later on this month. Probably, I don't even know what we're going to talk about next because we are getting into the spooky season. So maybe we'll do some horror related stuff in the next few weeks. But in the meanwhile, thanks everyone for watching and everyone for supporting us. And we'll do more of this stuff. Go check out all our reviews. We have comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps. I'm doing House of the Dragon reviews every Sunday or Monday, depending on how time it goes. Rings of Power has also been super amazing. Like the latest episode, I don't even talk about the series on our what we've been into because like the response is always the same. The show's fucking amazing. So yeah, Rings of Power has been so cool. So yeah, I'm very excited, and all that stuff here. And maybe we can get Dark Horse to send those comics since Josh buys so many of them.
God, that'd be awesome. Please,
we should get some reviews. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Little loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hell, Bebo.
Josh.
Simon.